Hello, I'm Melonie at the Vancouver Yoga Center in Vancouver, Washington, USA. And I am here with Nathan. He's one of our students at the studio, and he's agreed to help me demonstrate Chaturanga and some of the key elements to it, and some prep poses and some prop work to help us refine our Chaturanga a bit more. So let's look at what the basic look of Chaturanga is first. So Nathan, I'm going to have you come to hands and knees position and walk the knees behind you a few inches. So basics is shoulders in line with wrists to start with, coming into this to plank to Chaturanga. So he goes from here to now walk the legs back to plank pose. Great. And then keeping the body as in one straight line as you can, start to bend the elbows, draw your heart a little forward and come more to a 90-degree angle with the arms. Nice. So that would be the basic form of Chaturanga. Now set your knees down, come back to hands and knees position. So some things that people do with the upper body in particular, let's start with that, is the elbows. So either they start lowering down thinking this is a push-up, a classic push-up with the elbows going out. It's a yoga push-up, but it's not a classic push-up. So it's not elbows dropping out to the sides, come back up. It's also not elbows hugged to the body. So squeezing the elbows in as you lower down. Great, which might actually take you too far back, where he's almost taking his elbows to the floor. And this might be where people want to crash, come back up. And it's, unbalanced for the body. But more of a little gap between the arms and the body. The shoulders, here's the head of the arm bones, always moving in the back plane. So if he actually melts his heart a little bit, he gets this to connect back a bit more. He gets more of the rhomboids, the lats, the lower traps, the triceps to engage. Because as we come into this pose, a lot of people think of it as a push-up and they're trying to use their biceps and their pecs a lot. And in yoga, we want to use more of the back body to stabilize. So all of that gets connected. And then think of where your heart weight is. I want to bring my heart in line more with my thumb tips, and I want to lower down. When I lower my heart in line with the thumb tips, I'm going to get more of that 90-degree angle. Yeah, if I go shoot too far forward, yeah, that's going to be really challenging. And then too far back, that's going to be really challenging. Come back up. So this, how far, you do need to go forward, but the question always is, well, how far forward do I go? People often overshoot it. So think of the heart in line with the thumb tips, and that will help a lot. So we're not hugging the elbows close in. We're not sending the elbows way out. We're someplace neutral so that we can fire all the back body muscles. If you just hug your elbows into the body, you're using the bone on bone to support you and not using the back body muscles as much to do the work for you. So that's the foundation of the upper part of the body. Then some things that people do with the lower part of the body. Let's take the knees up. So they either lead with their hips rather than their whole body. So let the pelvis kind of go down, and then the rest of you go a little to the ground. So that will be a tendency. Come back up. Or they lift their butt too high, and their lower back usually sags down like a sway back. And then they try to lower down. So that's another common tendency, and that will kind of burn you out pretty fast. Set the knees back down. So we want to be more in one straight line with the body. So to get there, though, we need to build some strength and integration of this upper part of the body. So some prep work to do could be what we call rhomboid push-ups, where you just melt your heart, and then you round the heart. It's like cat-cow in the upper body. We melt the heart, feeling some connection back here, feeling where the bones of the shoulders are, round the upper back, shoulders kind of round forward, melt the heart, front of the shoulders, start to move towards the back plane. One more time, round the heart, shoulders want to go forward, sometimes upwards, sometimes just downward, and then melt the heart, shoulders go back. So this is a part of your pillar of support in this pose, is the shoulders in the back plane. So that's one. And then we got, can we engage the tricep muscles? So here, we're going to take the elbows straight back and down to the floor. I call these forearm push-ups. We lower down, and then we rise back up again. And we lower down, and we rise back up. So this hopefully should be engaging some of the triceps in the back. One more time. We lower down and come back up. Okay, then the third prep work is to bring the center of the heart in line with the thumbs, with the knees staying on the ground and only lowering to the part where you can keep the head of the arm bones back. without them rolling forward. And then you come back up from there. Now, some can make it all the way to the floor. Let's even go all the way to the floor while these front of the shoulders get pulled back the whole way. Yep. And then trying to come back up is the tricky bit. Now show them what would happen if we don't do that. The front of the shoulders tend to go forward and we lower to the ground. And as you go to the ground, the front of the shoulders keep rolling inward towards the body or upward towards the ears. Come back up. So then we're using all of our pecs and biceps and the front body plane muscles. And here we're using the back body plane muscles when we do this. Now that could be really hard for some. Let's show them how to support their body with a strap to work that piece of it a little bit more. So let's face the camera. So we have a strap here. We're going to wear it like a scarf. It's going to go across the neck, and you can hold it in front, and then take it through this armpits. And we want them quite high on the armpit. And then I'm going to make an X in the back, and he is going to grab them now in front and squeeze that quite tightly, and then let's make a loop with this. So hopefully you've got a buckled strap that we can go and loop and make it a quite tight loop. So firm that up. Make sure it's really close up into the armpits. And we'll show for the camera, turn around your back to them so they can see the X that was created in the back. So across the neck, through the armpits, crisscross, and pull through, and it's quite tight. Now, if he tries, so let's face this way, to roll his shoulders forward, if he was coming into Chaturanga, right, pushing the head of the arm bones forward, it would let him know right into the front of the strap. It would feel tight and it'd pull on his neck. But if he pulls his shoulders back, those are the pillars, or like brakes that are just saying stop. That stays back, and then his body is what moves into the pose. So let's come back to that hands and knees position with the knees just slightly past your hips. So walk the knees back a little. Good, and where we're aiming our heart more where the thumbs are, we're keeping the pillars back like brakes to say, hey, I'm gonna stay here. And he's gonna lower forward and down as far as he can, keeping the front of the shoulders pulling away from the straps. And however far he can go, keeping that integration, and then come back up from that spot. And you just keep working that to get stronger and stronger in your Chaturanga. And again, you'll feel all the muscles in the back plane of the body. Awesome. It's a great prep to Chaturanga. It's wonderful. Let's take the strap off now and show two more prop variations that we could do to prep you more and more to get stronger in the Chaturanga. So you need 2 blocks. These will be at the top of your mat. And we're going to remember the strap. You could have even left the strap on, and that would have been fine too. We're going to walk the knees past. We'll do it first with the knees on the ground. We're going to pretend we had the strap. So all that work of pull the shoulders back, find the muscles in the back plane of the body, and start to lower, again, heart forward until you touch the blocks. And then you come back up. So he could also do this now, the more advanced version, knees off the ground. And you lower down and you touch the blocks. Harder, of course, and then come back up, set the knees down. Now, what I don't like about the blocks is that as he goes forward, the tendency might be for you to try to bring your shoulders to the blocks, and we end up doing the roll the shoulders forward again and come back up. So only use those if you can make sure to keep in your mind that shoulders go back, pillars, integration on the back body, keeping that. It's almost like the reins pulling up as you lower down. Nice. And then back up. So that's awesome. Now the third step is once you have that and you've got to the 90-degree part, now we got to figure out more of this middle. So I'm going to put this about the bottom ribs or so. You're going to walk the knees past, and he's going to lower down just like he did that last one until he touches this block. And the blocks there, he can rest a little. Great. We're going to lower a little bit more the shoulders. Come a little lower to the ground. Yep. Now he's got that. This is his foundation. This block's helping support his weight. He's in a pretty good straight line. Now to find the core, he's going to lift the ribs just the tiniest bit off the block and hover. And then rest it back down and then hover. He could do those little rib push-ups, we could call those, and work the middle. Nice. And it's a lot of work. Set the knees back down and come back up for a breather for a moment. We'll take that away. Now, if you mastered all of that and you want to get just rock strong, hard, it's going to be in this pose, we'll do it from the floor coming up. So more advanced version. So come on to the belly. So this is definitely more advanced students. So now a couple things. He has a tendency to pull his fingers way past his shoulders, which already puts him in a pull down position. Pull down is also very equal to being shoulders forward. So if they're not near the sockets, I want to take the fingers just a little more up so they're just a little closer to the tops of the shoulders. They don't have to be right in line with the tops of the shoulders, but closer. Then I want to exaggerate some motions. I want to go shoulders towards the ears, then shoulders to the sky, without pulling down away from his ears hard, right? So think of this as the pillars again, pulling those shoulders back. Then he lifts his head up a little bit off the ground. So think of this as now a little baby cobra. And he's already in Chaturanga with this part of his body. Now curl the toes, lift the knees up, thighs up. Now he's in more of a Chaturanga with that part of the body. Keep this, keep that. Now find the middle like you did with the block. Pull the ribs up off the floor. Yes. And super core all the way through. And then rest it back down. And you might do reps of those, like 3 to 6 of those. Wonderful. Come back up. That's great. So those are some tips in Chaturanga. Hopefully they're helpful. Leave some comments at the end. Visit us at our website at vancouveryogacenter.com, or I've got some online classes on Vimeo you can get to from the website, vancouveryogacenter.com website, or in the spot below. So enjoy, and we'll see you soon.